Hello my dear students, in the last video we discussed about the problems based on Kohlraasch law, and in today's class, that is lecture number 18, we'll start with batteries, nothing but cells. First we'll see its definition part. See here, batteries, nothing but cells. The definition is like this: a galvanic cell or set of two or more galvanic cells arranged in the series is called as battery. I'll repeat, a galvanic cell or set of two or more galvanic cells which are arranged in the series is called as battery. Means it may be one galvanic cell or more than one galvanic cells which are connected in the series. That arrangement itself is called as battery. Right. Now if you see the word, if you see the definition in this galvanic cell word is there, then already you know the function of galvanic cell. What galvanic cell will do means in this galvanic cell chemical energy will be converted into electrical energy, means current produces, means in the batteries also current will be generated. Right. Now we'll have mainly two types of batteries. One is primary batteries as well as secondary batteries. Now we'll define first what are primary batteries. Very simple. These are the galvanic cells. These are the galvanic cells which become dead over a period of time and cannot be recharged are called as primary batteries. Means these batteries will work only up to some time only. After that, then their lifetime will be completed. Means cannot be recharged again. That type of batteries are called as primary batteries. And in according to our NCERT syllabus, we will have total two primary batteries. One is a dry cell, its another name is Leclanche cell, and other one is a mercury cell. Now we have to discuss about these two cells in our syllabus. Right. Now secondary batteries. Secondary batteries definition we will discuss shortly, and a secondary batteries example has given, that is a lead storage battery as well as the nickel cadmium battery. Right. First we'll start primary batteries example, that is a dry cell. Dry cell working now we'll discuss, but before that, once again, how to define primary batteries? These are the galvanic cells which becomes dead over a period of time and cannot be recharged are called as primary batteries, nothing but primary cells. And in that first we will discuss about dry cell, nothing but Leclanche cell. See here. Now the dry cell diagram is like this. Very simple. In the dry cell, this outer compartment, this outer container is made with zinc metal. That's why it is called the zinc container, which is using as anode. And already known that it is a galvanic cell. That's why anode will be designated with a minus sign. I'll repeat. This outer part is made with zinc metal, which is acting as anode. Next cathode. What is cathode? Very simple. A graphite rod which is surrounded by powdered manganese dioxide and carbon is acting as a cathode. I'll repeat. Then this zinc outer part, this zinc container otherwise itself acting as anode, and a graphite rod surrounded by powdered manganese dioxide plus carbon is acting as a cathode. Right. Now electrolyte. What is electrolyte? Electrolyte is filled here. This is electrolyte. What is electrolyte? Means a paste of ammonium chloride and zinc chloride mixture is using as an electrolyte. That's it. Okay. We'll write clearly here what is anode, cathode, electrolyte. See here. Anode will write, of course, minus. What is anode? That is zinc cylinder. Of course, itself acts as anode. Zinc cylinder we can write. And what is cathode? That is a graphite graphite rod which is surrounded by powdered MnO2, manganese dioxide and carbon. And next we will see electrolyte. What is electrolyte? Paste of ammonium chloride plus zinc chloride mixture we are using as an electrolyte, right? In every batteries we have to remember what is anode, what is cathode, as well as what is electrolyte, because based on this only we have to write anodic reaction as well as cathodic reaction. Now I will give you anode reaction, right? Now at anode, oxidation is taking place. Oxidation is nothing but loss of electron. Here, which is undergoing oxidation? This zinc itself undergoing oxidation. That's why zinc, by losing the 2 electrons, converted to Zn plus 2. That is zinc itself undergoing oxidation. See here, this outer that is a zinc container itself undergoing oxidation. Due to oxidation, it is losing electrons. Right. Now cathode. Then what is the cathode? Cathode is a graphite rod surrounded by powdered manganese dioxide and carbon. The entire part is acting as cathode. Now here cathode I am using as MnO2, that cathode, in the presence of electrolyte. Electrolyte is a mixture of, is a paste of ammonium chloride and zinc chloride. I am using electrolyte, that is a reacting part I am using NH4 plus, MnO2 plus in the presence of electrolyte undergoing a reduction by taking electron, converted to MnOOH plus ammonia gas is releasing. This is cathodic reaction. Means at anode electrons are releasing, at cathode electrons are absorbing. Means electrons will transfer from anode to cathode, from here to here only. Electron will transfer from here to here. Because of that reason only current produces. Our bulb will glow. Right. Now we'll add both the reactions. We'll get a net cell reaction. But before we will going to add the reactions, we have to make electrons balance. Here 2 electrons are there, here 1 electron is there. That's why equation 1, first equation will multiply with 1 and the second equation will multiply with 2. Therefore 2 electrons get cancelled. Therefore a net cell reaction will write. It is also called as overall cell reaction. Zn plus 2 into MnO2, 2 MnO2 plus 2 into NH4 plus 2 NH4 plus gives Zn plus 2 plus 2 into MnOOH plus 2 into ammonia. This is a net cell reaction. Both the reactants we have written at one place and products also we have written at one place. That's it. Now, because of oxidation and reduction, electrons will transfer. Due to electron transfer, current is producing. That's it. But here one important point is, if you observe the product ammonia gas is coming out. Then if ammonia gas really comes out from the this battery, definitely because of its high pressure, then here cap, nothing but a seal of the cell should open, and by opening that seal, ammonia gas should come out. If ammonia gas is coming out, then our battery should work only for a fraction of seconds or fraction of minutes. That's it. But really it is not happening. It is working for a certain period of time. Means what happened, where this ammonia is going then? Where this ammonia is going or to whom it is reacting, that will see now. See here, whatever the ammonia is coming out, that ammonia immediately reacting with Zn plus 2 and reacted with ammonia balancing purpose I am taking 4, will get one complex compound is obtained. ZnNH3 taken 4 to the power of plus 2, one complex ion is forming. Regarding the complex compounds, we'll have particular one lesson is there. There we'll discuss about its name also. I'll just give you its name, but right now you may not understand how the name is obtained. Its name is tetraamine zinc 2 ion, like this. Tetraamine zinc Roman number 2 ion is its IUPAC name, right? Now whatever the ammonia is coming out, that ammonia immediately reacted with the Zn plus 2 and converted into one complex ion part. Because of formation of this complex ion only, ammonia gas is not coming out and seal of the cell has not opened. That's why our cell, without any interruption, it is working up to its lifetime. That's it. Now here cell potential of this dry cell is 1.5 volts, and generally this cell will be used in wall clocks as well as radios as well as torches, etc. That's it. Next, generally then lifetime of this dry cell is very less. Why? Because we are using here one of the electrolyte, ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride being acidic nature. Ammonium chloride is acidic in nature. Because of acidic nature of ammonium chloride, then this zinc will be corroded. Zinc will be corroded because our anode is made with the zinc only. That will undergo corrosion. That's why its lifetime will be less only. Because NH4Cl is having acidic nature. So how ammonium chloride is having acidic nature, that you have learned in first year equilibrium topic only. Right. Next we'll go to another primary battery, that is mercury cell, or its another name is button cell. Mercury cell, or it is a button cell. One more point in a dry cell, that is in a dry cell we are using MnO2. MnO2 will be used as a depolarizer also. In dry cell, MnO2 will use as a depolarizer also. What is a depolarizer? Means at anode, due to a reaction, anodic reaction, some hydrogen gas sometimes may come and deposit. If hydrogen gas is coming and depositing, then the current output will be decreases. That's why to prevent that one, oxygen rich MnO2 will used as a depolarizer. This MnO2 will react with hydrogen and converted as water. Whatever the hydrogen has deposited, that hydrogen is turned as water. That's why MnO2 will be used as a depolarizer. Right. Now we'll go to second one, mercury cell or button cell. Of course, as far as our theory exam is concerned, no need to draw diagram of this button cell or mercury cell. I'll give you what is anode, what is cathode, what is electrolyte, as well as what is anodic reaction, what is cathodic reaction. That's it. Okay. Anode will use as zinc amalgam, ZnHg. Why particularly zinc amalgam we are using? Means to prevent some unwanted reactions of zinc, we are using the zinc amalgam as anode. Right. Cathode, paste of mercuric oxide plus carbon is used as cathode. Then electrolyte, moist paste of KOH plus ZNO mixture is used as an electrolyte. That's it. In every cell, compulsory, we have to know what is anode, what is cathode, what is electrolyte. As far as mercury cell is concerned, anode is zinc amalgam, cathode is a paste of mercuric oxide as well as carbon, and electrolyte is moist paste of KOH and ZNO. Right. Now we'll write anode reaction. Anode reaction, we'll write anode is of course minus, because here current is producing. Therefore, anode will be designated with minus, cathode will be designated with plus. Right. Now zinc amalgam in the presence of an electrolyte, OH minus, in the presence of electrolyte KOH, only reacting species I am taking OH minus, undergoing oxidation converted as ZNO plus, balancing purpose I am taking 2 H2O plus 2 electrons. It is absolutely balanced, Zn, and here 2 oxygens, 2 hydrogens are there, ZNO, and 2 hydrogens as well as 2 oxygens, and left side 2 into minus 1 minus 2, right side also 2 into minus 1 minus 2, and of course electrons are releasing, nothing but oxidation is taking place. Then what about mercury? Mercury will not, mercury no need to show at the product side, it will be there only, because its role is not there in this reaction. Right. Zinc amalgam in the presence of an electrolyte undergoing oxidation converted to zinc oxide and water, and electrons are releasing. Then we will go to cathode. Cathode is a plus. Now what is cathode here? Mercuric oxide. Mercuric oxide, we are telling that electrolyte, in the presence of electrolyte again, moist paste of, moist, nothing but moisture content also will be there. Therefore HgO plus H2O, by taking electrons will travel from anode to cathode and converted as Hg plus 2OH minus. We'll check them whether balanced or not on both sides. One mercury, and 2 oxygens, then 2 oxygens, 2 hydrogens, left side 2 into minus 1, minus 2, right side also minus 2 only. Then we'll add both the reactions. While adding again we have to cancel electrons. Here fortunately, here already electrons are balanced. Therefore we'll just cancel them and the remaining things will add. And one more, 2OH minus also we can cancel, as well as H2O also we can cancel. Therefore ZnHg plus HgO gives ZnO plus Hg. That's it. This is overall or net cell reaction. Overall cell reaction or net cell reaction means here from anode to cathode, electrons are traveling. Because of that electrons movement, current is producing. That's it. Once again, here anode is zinc amalgam, cathode is a paste of mercuric oxide plus carbon, and electrolyte, moist paste of KOH and ZNO mixture. Now anodic reaction, whatever the anode is there, that anode, zinc amalgam, in the presence of electrolyte, undergoing oxidation, that's why electrons are releasing. Now cathode, mercuric oxide, then in the presence of electrolyte, moist paste we are dealing, that's why plus H2O, by taking those 2 electrons undergoing a reduction, mercury plus OH minus ions are coming out. And whatever the similar terms are there at reactants as well as product side, those similar terms will be cancelled. The final equation is like this. And of course, here if you observe the cell reaction, there is no any involvement of ions. Therefore, what happened? Its cell potential is 1.35 volts and its potential remains constant up to its lifetime. I'll repeat. Because of non-involvement of ion concentration in the overall cell reaction, cell potential will remains constant up to its lifetime. Right. And generally where will use this mercury cell? Mercury cells will be used in watches and some hearing aids, etc. That's it. This is about primary cells. One is dry cell, nothing but Leclanche cell, and the second one is mercury cell or button cell. Now we'll go to second one, secondary cells. Second type, I mean secondary cells. Secondary cells. Right. First we will define what are secondary cells. Means the galvanic cells. Galvanic cells which can be recharged and reused are called as secondary cells. These we can recharge and we can reuse. For example, inverters. Inverters in our house already know that, and after its lifetime we are not throwing out. We are again recharging and reusing. That type of cells comes under secondary cells, nothing but secondary batteries. That's why the galvanic cells which can be recharged and reused are called as secondary cells. Now in our syllabus regarding this secondary cells, one is lead storage battery. Lead storage battery is there, or lead storage cell is there, and the second one is nickel cadmium cell is there. Both the cells will discuss now. Right, first we will say lead storage battery. Lead storage battery purpose, I will give you one rough diagram which is like this. Right, the one rough diagram of this lead storage battery. Of course, its another name is lead accumulator also. Very simple. We'll take one container. In that container, 38% aqueous H2SO4 we are using as an electrolyte. 38% aqueous sulfuric acid is using as an electrolyte. In that electrolyte, we have dipped some electrodes. We will see that what are those electrodes. Very simple. First, I'll write anode. Anode. What is anode means? Lead grids filled with spongy lead. Spongy lead is acting as anode. I'll repeat. See here, this one, this one, this one. These three we are using as anode. And what are those anodes? They are definitely lead plates, lead grids, and on those lead grids, smooth lead, spongy lead has coated. That's it. I'll repeat. Lead grids filled with spongy lead is acting as anode. You just remember this part. Next, cathode. Cathode also lead plates only again. Anode also lead plates, as well as cathode also lead plates only, because this one, they are cathode. Very simple. Here also lead grids filled with lead dioxide. That's it. Lead grid filled with lead dioxide is acting as cathode. Lead grid filled with spongy lead is acting as anode. That's all. Both are lead plates only. But as far as anode is concerned, on that lead plates, spongy lead has coated. As far as cathode is concerned, on that lead plates, lead dioxide has coated. That's it. And here electrolyte is 38%, sulfuric acid is using as, 38% aqueous sulfuric acid is using as an electrolyte. Right. Now we'll write both anodic reaction as well as cathodic reaction. At anode is minus. Then what is anode? Spongy lead, nothing but only Pb. Therefore, Pb is spongy lead in the presence of an electrolyte. What is electrolyte? H2SO4. In that again I am taking a reacting species, that is a SO4 minus 2. That spongy lead in the presence of electrolyte undergoes oxidation PbSO4 and losing 2 electrons. Nothing but oxidation is taking place. And of course it is balanced only. One lead, sulfate, minus 2 charge. That's it. Means at anode, electrons are releasing. Those electrons will travel towards cathode. Therefore, I will write cathodic reaction. Cathode. What is cathode? Lead grid filled with lead oxide. Nothing but PbO2 is acting as cathode. Therefore, PbO2. Also in the presence of electrolyte. What is electrolyte? Electrolyte is H2SO4. In the presence of electrolyte, I will write like this: H plus SO4 minus 2. In the presence of electrolyte, here reduction is taking place, means taking off electrons, converted to again PbSO4 only. Balancing purpose, I will write here 4, and that's it. Left side charges, if you see, it is 0. 4 into plus 1, it is a plus 4, and it is a minus 2, it is a minus 4, plus 4, minus 4. Left side charge 0. Right side should also charge should be 0. Therefore PbSO4, and here byproduct is 2H2O is obtained as a byproduct. Now everything is balanced on both the sides. I'll repeat. Lead oxide, which is acting as cathode, in the presence of electrolyte, undergoing a reduction by taking electrons, converted to PbSO4. Along with that, water is also forming. Right. Now we'll add both the reactions. We'll get a overall cell reaction. We'll get overall cell reaction. Then before we'll going to add overall reactions, first we have to get cancel the electrons. Here again electrons are equal. Then other than electrons, is there any other term to get cancelled? I think no, only electrons will be cancelled. Remaining things will write at the reactant side as well as at the product side. Pb plus PbO2 plus 4H plus SO4 minus 2, nothing but 2SO4 minus 2 gives PbSO4, 2 PbSO4 plus 2H2O. That's it. This is only called net cell, overall cell reaction of lead storage battery. Okay. Now we'll just see what happens. It is anode, cathode. It is an electrolyte. 4H plus 2SO4 is nothing but 2 moles of H2SO4. It is electrolyte. Means during the usage of this lead storage battery, during its usage, what happened? Anode, cathode as well as electrolyte, all three things will convert into another form. See here, anode converted to PbSO4, even cathode also converted to PbSO4, and even electrolyte converted to H2O. Means after its lifetime, after 6 months or 1 year something, after its lifetime, then anode as well as cathode as well as electrolytes are no more. Therefore, cell becomes dead. Then immediately what we can do? By sending a current into the cell. Basically this cell is giving current. Then after some time it becomes dead. Now once again what we can do? We have to send the current into the cell. Means we can recharge this cell. During the recharging, what happened then? Cell reactions completely reversed. Again reverse reaction takes place. Because of reverse reaction, again we'll get back anode, cathode, electrolyte also. That also we'll discuss. But before that, here in this diagram, total 3 cells we have used here. Like 1, 2, 3 cells. Then according to our NCERT book, they have mentioned like 3 to 6 cells we can connect, and at the same time here each cell potential has given 2.05. Suppose if you connect 6 cells, 6 to the 12, maximum its cell potential is 12 volts. That's it. Right. Now during the discharging of the cell, this reaction is taking place. Discharging is nothing but when current is drawing, when we draw current from the cell, this reaction is taking place, because here anode oxidation is taking place, reduction is taking place, and electrons are evolving. Those electrons are traveling towards cathode. From anode to cathode, electron movement is taking place. Because of this electron movement only, current is producing. That's why based on that net cell reaction we have written. And after some time what happened? The cell becomes dead. Immediately what we have to do? By sending a current into the cell, we have to recharge it back. During the recharging of the cell, what happened? A reverse reaction takes place. Reverse reaction means previously whatever the anode was there, that anode now turned as cathode. Previously whatever the cathode was there, that cathode turned as anode. That's why in the reverse reaction, it becomes a cathode, it becomes an anode. That's why I'll give you directly final reaction only. Then during the charging or recharging of the cell, during the recharging of the cell, reaction is a reverse. That is 2PbSO4 plus 2H2O converted to Pb plus PbO2 plus 4H plus 2SO4. Of course, 2SO4 minus 2. That's it. Again we are getting back anode, cathode, electrolyte. Once these substances are getting back, again a cell will work continuously. This is the lead storage battery. It's a process. How it is working, we have explained. Right. Next, we'll go to another cell, that is another secondary cell, that is nickel cadmium cell. Nickel cadmium. Right. Nickel cadmium is also secondary cell, and here diagram of course not needed. We'll write what is anode, what is cathode, what is electrolyte. Anode is cadmium, cathode. In cathode we'll use a metal grid. We'll write a metal plate, metal grid coated with nickel dioxide whose oxidation state is 4. That substance we are coating on a metal plate. Next, electrolyte, that is a moist paste of potassium hydroxide alone we are using as an electrolyte. I'll repeat. Cadmium itself is acting as anode, a metal plate, nothing but a metal grid coated with nickel dioxide. In that, nickel oxidation number is 4. That we are using as cathode, and electrolyte is a moist paste of potassium hydroxide using as that is electrolyte. We'll write as it is anode reaction, cathode reaction. Anode. Why? Because at anode electrons will release, at cathode electrons will absorb. Because of movement of electrons, current produces. Right. What is anode cadmium? Now cadmium in the presence of an electrolyte is the KOH. Again I am using a reacting species OH minus, balancing purpose 2. Cadmium converted to cadmium hydroxide, electrons will be released. This is about anode reaction. Next, cathode. What is cathode? Metal grid coated with nickel dioxide. Means I will use nickel dioxide only. Then this nickel dioxide in the presence of an electrolyte, we are using again a moist paste, moist. That's why plus H2O by taking electrons, converted as nickel hydroxide. Nickel hydroxide, balancing purpose will write 2 plus 2OH minus. That's it. It is absolutely balanced on both the sides. Therefore, again we will add them. While adding 2 electrons cancel. 2OH minus also cancel. Then we'll have the net to cell reaction. I'll write here CD, cadmium, plus NiO2 plus 2H2O gives cadmium hydroxide, CdOH taken twice plus NiOH taken twice. That's it. This is net cell overall cell reaction. See here, it is anode, it is cathode, it is part of electrolyte, no doubt. Moist paste of KOH we are dealing, part of electrolyte. I'll repeat, anode, cathode, part of electrolyte, and anode converted to cadmium hydroxide, cathode converted to nickel hydroxide. That's why this cell also will work up to some time only. After again we can recharge it and we can reuse. And generally it is also used in watches as well as some electronic calculators will use this cell. And here its cell potential also nearly 1.35 volts. And here if you observe, its working is more efficient than lead storage battery, but it is a highly expensive material. That's it. These are the cells which includes both primary batteries as well as secondary batteries. That's it. Next we have to discuss about that is fuel cells. We have to discuss that fuel cells will be continued in our next class. Anyhow, in the next class we'll going to complete our electrochemistry topic. That is last class. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.